Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a little summary of the latest update for Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, which is update 54480. So first of all, as usual, there is a new event starting. You have daily missions which you can do to earn new profile pictures, new visual skins, statues for your town center, and so on and so forth. For the co-op mode, you can now also play the Attila the Hun and Surjavaman the First campaign. All missions out of those campaigns, that is. In terms of balance changes, we now have the projectile speed of the Cannon Galleon Standard Elite increased from 1.95 to 3. Recently we have seen more civs get access to those, and now having... now this is a little bit of a spicy change. The infantry has received quite a buff, so in this case, longswordsmen and 200 swordsmen each gain 1 extra melee armor. The longswordsman upgrade costs only 150 instead of 200 food, and also supplies, the technology which decreases the cost of all militia line units, now costs 75 food and 75 gold instead of 150 food and 100 gold. So that makes the longswords a lot more viable in Castle Age, and placed a lot more affordable in how far they will. This will help them become more viable. We will probably see within the following days and weeks. Now to the Civ specific changes, which are there not too many in this update. First up, the Bulgarians now are, well, they make a little bit more sense than they used to, in that the main arrow now deals 10 instead of 9 damage, and the secondary arrows deal 10 damage as well instead of 9 and 11 as that used to be. The Burgundians, with their Burgundian vineyards technology, now no longer convert half of your current food into gold, but it still enables your farmers to generate gold. I am a little bit conflicted on this, because it still is the same cost, so if the effect isn't that large anymore, I would expect the cost to decrease as well, but looks like that's not the case. The Portuguese have received a nerf. Not a huge one, but the Fedoria now has 2,700 instead of 5,200 hit points. This means that it is a lot easier to raid those notoriously unraidable economies of Portuguese players in the late game. Just general Fedoria's still a nice thing to have in the late game when all other resources have run out. The Sicilian team bonus, after being changed from last update to receiving a free transport ship as soon as they built the first dock, now they wrote back again and instead give all transport ships in your team a 5 line of sight and a cost reduction of 50%. And finally, the Vietnamese unique technology Chartres gives their standard and elite battle elephants 100 extra hit points instead of the previous 50. So even better at meat shielding for the archers, and might just be able to break your opponent's defense with those very, very beefy elephants. Now, after the recent Red Bull Wolo tournament, we now have access to, if not all, but a fair amount of maps we saw on that tournament, like Aftermath, Enclosed, Habub, Kawasan, Land Madness, Sacred Springs, and Wade. As always, there have been changes and fixes to certain random map generation algorithms, as well as the performance. There now actually is a penalty if you close the game after finding a match on a map you don't like, which I think is a step in the right direction, so you don't have so many cute dodges. And AI is on extra difficulty, now actually able to cut trees with oranges, which is interesting. And I would definitely like to see how often and how useful that feature will be, but it's definitely cool that the AI still gets some changes, some tweaks here and there, and learns new tricks after all that time. But this has been a little bit of a smaller patch, so that is it already. I would like to thank you for being around, and until next time, have a great time. This has been Alakalim. Goodbye.